Hello guys, we are back with another advanced Halo Wars 2 guide. Today we're going to be reviewing Yap Yap. So, Yap Yap is a very unique leader and has a fun yet rewarding playstyle compared to the other 15 leaders. His use of 3 units, which are actually pretty strong, allow him to be a nuisance to the enemy and macro heavily early on for a big economical advantage. His Tech 1 can be fairly rough versus Unity and a well-executed rush, but he scales well into one of the stronger leaders in the game. So, without further ado, let's jump into looking at all of his leader powers and what makes Yap Yap tick. So in this section of the video, guys, we're going to be talking about Yap Yap's leader powers and how to use them in a competitive game and what they actually do. So we've got this whole leader wheel. You'll see it for every leader if you're new to the game. They all have their unique abilities. And it's just what people actually do with these abilities throughout the game, because leader powers are a huge part of Halo Wars 2. Timing your leader powers can literally change games, seen it happen multiple times. So I'm going to talk through which leader powers you should take, in which order as Yap Yap, and talk about some of the situations and the stats where these come up. So in nearly every case, your first point is going to be the Surprise Mine 1. So Surprise Mine 1, very good early on for actually contesting resources. You can drop it on the enemy power, your own power, because Yap Yap has a very slow gather rate with his fodder. So usually you'll find in high level play at least, if you're sending a mine or a chopper to your opponent's side, they will just run to your side, pick up your power, pick up your supply uncontested. So it's nice to just drop a mine on your resources for them to run into. So the mines are very strong, actually one of the strongest mines in the game. Obviously you got 1 and 2. 1 isn't as strong as 2, of course. It was nerfed as well because it was very strong. Mines you can no longer now drop on top of an army. It kind of falls off to the left, right, up, down, not actually on top of the actual army. But the Surprise Mine from Yap Yap actually spawns 2 vet-free cannon fodder per mine. So if this bad boy goes off, not only are you getting the mine damage explosion, but you're also getting 2 vet-free cannon fodder actually come out of the mine, which are very strong. Like, they could beat Marines and Grunts, which is what you want, really. So even if you can't get off a good mine, it's always good to make the enemy trigger it, so you have those extra 2 units early on in the game. But you do have to remember that this does cost 40 supply and 40 power, which can delay your generator upgrade in the game just because of how slow cannon fodder are at actually picking up supplies. So that brings us to option 2. Now, you'll see a lot of teams players going, please don't shoot me. If you're a competent player, you're a good player, and you'll have scouts on the map, your team will have scouts on the map, you'll have an army to defend and things like this. Please don't shoot me is a wasted leader power, generally, because you should see whatever's coming and have enough time to react to the enemy without needing 15 seconds of downtime to get back into position. And sometimes even 15 seconds isn't enough. Please don't shoot me is kind of like, it's like a worse teleport, I guess you could say, because you can't get back in time to defend usually, where teleport you can actually just teleport back home and defend quite easily. Please don't shoot me just gives you 15 seconds of downtime where anyone can move, no one can use leader powers and things like that. One of the downsides is, like, if someone's already beaming and you use please don't shoot me, the beam will continue to do damage, and so will any other leader power. So never use please don't shoot me in those situations. I find it more of a desperation measure, really, please don't shoot me. Which is why, generally when I play Yap Yap, I will go Mine 2, nearly every time. Mine 2 is very good. You get a lot of value out of the mines throughout the game. So throughout the whole game, you've got these spawning back. This mine actually comes back every 112 seconds. So every 112 seconds, you're going to be spawning these 2 mines around the map. And your opponent's going to have detect to be able to obviously stop that. And Tech 1's very good, because if you're going against Banish, they generally won't have detect. If you're coming up against like Forge on Tech 2 and he's spamming Warthogs, dropping mines everywhere is really good because you will get a lot of good connects with that and it will help you in the game. So Mine 2 is generally my go-to. Now, the other option you have on point 2 is going to be the Methane Wagon. So the Methane Wagon, they are very expensive. It allows you to unlock it here, so you'll be able to build it from your main base. Once you unlock it, you'll be able to build it from here. So it has a methane aura around it, and it also has a Y ability where it can shoot a methane rocket. Now, they buff of damage and armor only works on grunts. So any other unit that you have, it's not going to work on. It's only going to work on your grunts, like your heavy grunts, your grunt riders. Locusts, actually, surprisingly, are driven by a grunt, so you will see Methane Wagon and Locust be used quite regularly on Tech 2 because it is very strong. You get that extra 20% armor and extra 20% damage buff. So all of a sudden, these Locusts go from this squishy little machine to actually something fairly decent when you have engineers and your leader in the mix. So Methane Wagon can work, but they are very expensive, and you don't tend to build a lot of them, which is why I feel like it's a waste. Because later in the game, you have this drop, which drops in Methane Wagons anyway, at more of a timing of when you actually need them. So personally, I would only go Methane Wagons if, like, my opponent's colony, UNSC, something like that, Atriox, someone who is playing very aggressive on a very small map, like your Mirage, your Frontier. Very small maps like that, where you're going to need that extra buff to be able to do anything in the game. So not only does it buff your grunts by 20% for damage and armor, it also reduces the enemy by 20% for armor and damage. So all of a sudden you have a 40% swing. That's going to help you actually deal with some of this early Tech 1 aggression. Chosen Hunter Captain being very difficult for Colony to actually, for Yap Yap to actually deal with. So in those cases, you would need the Methane Wagon on second point. But that leaves you with this very trashy mine, to be honest. Mine 1 isn't really that good compared to Mine 2. There's such a huge difference between the two. So if you can, I would always try and go Mine 2. So brings us to third point. You would always skip Guilt Trip. Probably till the very, very, very last leader point in the game. It's very much worthless. It just reduces the veterancy or experience gain when enemies kill your units. Can be good against Colony if he goes battle hardened and tries to do the turtle strat, but it's not really going to stop him doing that, honestly. So this brings options of everybody's favorite beam or the shade turret drop. Now, this can be a tough decision a lot of the times, and what I would say is, if you're behind in the game, I would go beam. If you're being pushed aggressively, I would go beam. If you're against someone good who knows how to split, and they're in the open like here, beam is going to be worthless. They're just going to split out of it. You're not going to get a lot done. You're going to have to wait until they're in a choke point, like coming up the ramp here, to be able to beam them with your units around to get any sort of value out of that beam. I see a lot of players all the time that I play against when I solo search 3v3s and stuff, and they'll be dropping beams like just like here, and I'll just be running left, right, blah, 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 and they can't chase me. Like, I just dodge it and they're forced to cancel it. So beam's definitely a waste, and you really have to time when you use the beams. So if you're ahead, what I like to do is go shade turret drop and drop it on like a gen or something like that to get value out of it. Because if you drop it in the fight, they will just run away. But you can also use it to actually block choke points. So it's quite good at blocking choke points. If you drop 4 down here, it will block the choke point and they won't be able to run through it, so it can be good at getting away. But shade turret drop isn't really that good. The only reason why you go shade turret drop, the only reason is that there's this mechanic in the game where turrets boost your leader point experience by a hell of a lot. And because Yap Yap has 4 in one leader power, it boosts it so much compared to like your turret drop for UNSC. So this is to essentially boost you ahead of your opponent to get your next point, which will be grunts from above or grunt dome. Grunt dome, very good option. If the game's even, I would say, and you want to make a timing push on a base, with your army, you built up a nice army to be able to do that. Go grunt dome, and that should be able to seal the win for you or the fight. Otherwise, grunts from above, you can get grunts from above at about 6 minutes into the game, and your opponent will have no answer for it. Like I've done this many times versus Atriox on Frontier, which is obviously his best map, very difficult to deal with. And getting a 6-minute grunts from above, taking down his gens, will literally close out the game for you. So if you look on the mini map, just down here near the LeaderPowers, you'll see this little teal. I'm going to call it teal, not blue. Little teal bar that's halfway done. Once that hits the end here, we'll get another leader power. So if we just drop these, you see it jump up there each time, jump up, and again. And again, you see how much that went up? It went up almost over a quarter of a bar to the next level. So you do this while upgrading your pads, getting upgrades throughout the game and stuff like that. You're already going to be a point ahead of your opponent. And we've just blocked the choke point there as well. And that's going to allow you to get these next two leader powers. So grunts from above, we're going to drop it in. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't go methane wagons, this bad boy does drop in a methane wagon for you. So you're going to get that nice debuff and buff to your units. You see the blue arrow above the grunts here, even the leaders as well. So we're getting a nice 20% armor and damage buff on our units here. Very good for our heroes, actually. And this is permanent. As long as you're in the radius of the methane wagon, you will get that buff. So you see the arrows now gone. We're not in the radius, but if we just drop a nice... normally a Y ability because I play a controller, but R on keyboard. Drop the R ability in, and you get the buff again. So you can also buff units over here while shooting over here to do damage to the enemy and get the buff on those units as well, which it does wear off. That's probably about 20 seconds. But also a very good ability and great for cheesing the opponent's base. If you can have some free fodder hiding somewhere, you drop that on the base while you're being pushed, so they're pushing your base but you're defending with turrets and an army. They've got nothing on defense. You drop in a gun from above on their base and all of a sudden you're ahead because you just took out their gens. This is a very good cheesy strat. Oh, hello there, Stasis. What you will see a lot. Oh, we might actually need to build some units here, or the video is going to be cut short by us dying. So that's usually your 4th point. And then you have Grunt Dome. So Grunt Dome, very good for fights. It drops a shield in the middle of the map, or wherever you want it, really. Really good for fights. You can drop Grunt Dome with mines inside, and the enemy cannot touch the mines, so we can drop Grunt Dome and then mines like that. The Grunt Dome also provides a stun, so if you drop in Grunt Dome and you get a good connection on the enemy, you will actually get a stun with that as well. Damn AI, becoming annoying. No splits though. Kill my base. Ow! So, lastly, what I would normally do is actually double back. So, I don't tend to go methane party at 5th point. I would double back for the Grunt Dome or the Beam or Grunt from above, whichever I miss really, because he's better leader powers. The Beam, the Grunt Dome, the Grunts from above, these are his better leader powers. You don't generally want to stack those up as much as possible before you go into the others, because these are his great active abilities that he have. We'll just talk about the others. So we've got Get Back Out there, which it works like combat salvage, but for infantry. You get 6 infantry units back after they die, and it does not affect cannon fodder. So that's great. bonus they put in there. It doesn't affect cannon fodder, because if it did, it would be totally useless leader power. But if any of your infantry units die, you will get them back, like your hunters, your rangers, your grunt riders, your heavy grunts. So still pretty good. And then we've got Methane Party, which is his ultimate ability. So it kind of works like the Methane Wagon, where it gives the buff and debuff in the radius. So you'll see how big this radius actually is. You can cover a full base like with this, and it will debuff it and do a lot of damage as well. So let me just show you it. Drop it on our army. You get all these bombs going down and damaging the enemy as well. So that's kind of like a scatter bomb. With all the methane buff as well for your own troops, and damage and debuff for the enemy in the area. You can see how long this thing sits down and lasts. So it's massive for winning engagements because of the huge debuff with the damage as well. Can work really well. Or you would double back into getting a stronger grunt dome, so the shield colors change just like they do when you have them on your main base. Or you can go upgraded beam. I'd probably skip the upgraded beam until later into the game, but grunts from above level 2 is very good. So we'll just have a look at grunts from above level 2 now. It's going to be dropping in 3 heavy grunts, 3 grunt riders, and 2 methane wagons. But these are all vet 2. You compare them to the vet 1 counterparts. They have they're practically double the units you get. And also vet 2. This is very strong at stripping bases if you can get a good strip there. But this is what I mentioned earlier. Instead of going methane wagons out of the base, you can get the grunts from above level 1 and 2. Mix some locusts in here. You got a good, nice range and all the base damage you need. And throw in some engineers and shrouds, and this is what you call an unkillable Yap Yap army with the grunt dome. So level 3. On the grunt dome actually allows you to drop 2 in to cover your whole army. So you can see really why Yap Yap is high up on the tier list with all of these active leader powers. Later in the game as well, you get shade drop, you get a 6. And these boost your leader points all the way throughout the game. So every time you drop these in, drop them in every time they come back up, because your leader points just keep going up and up, which means you can be 1 or 2 leader points ahead of your opponent. And in Halo Wars 2, being ahead on leader points is absolutely massive. So the next part of the video, we're just going to be going over some real Halo Wars 2 games and commentating in live situations on how I play Yap Yap. Hey guys, here we go. So we're going to be playing some Yap Yap today. We're going to be playing a game against Gefinator. He's going to be choosing his favorite leader, Decimus. This is a pretty good matchup on this map. So I'm going to be playing Yap Yap, talking you through it for the guide.
Local units.
And essentially, what we're going to do early on is we're going to send the fodder straight to his mini bases. Not necessarily to actually take the mini bases, but to make him buy them early and set his build back. So you can essentially control everything with Yap Yap here. So you're going to open up Chopper, go to the power, and you're going to drop a mine on this power here. So your Chopper goes to the opposite one that you're dropping the mine on. And you see he opened Chopper here. You really want to open double grunt or even triple grunt against Yap Yap, to be honest. And here is my Chopper, going to be harassing his grunt in the middle, while his Chopper is going around getting his minis. So that's a bit of a waste from him. Actually going to steal one, because why not? And obviously that is going to delay our generator there. Alright, we're going to get another grunt kill here. It's a bit of a mistake from him. And that is perfect for us. We're going to take his garrisons with the extra guns we've got. You see his generator's delayed. We're going to get ours up. And we're probably just going to put a raid camp on here and go in for an all-in rush because of what has happened in the early game. Obviously, we're going to... Oh, I didn't get that slam off. We're going to lose this Chopper, I think. Yeah, we're going to lose the Chopper. It's fine. Just go and build another one. And try and do some damage with our fodder here. Obviously, these are free units, so we can just keep spamming these really well.
And we're stealing all his resources now as well.
Harvester constructed. Do we have to call it?
Kinda want the chopper as weak as possible. And we're just gonna keep queuing up choppers
Tractor upgrade complete.
and swapping it with fodder here.
Point earned.
So another chopper. Cancel the fodder. Do that. Gonna go into another mine. He's probably gonna go grunt mine. He kind of has to go grunt mine.
Something just poked me. I want to go home. It'll be easy.
My engine is failing.
Got the chopper away, and he can't get back up. He can't go up here without actually losing some of his stuff. So he's gonna trigger that. We've obviously he's got an unupgraded gen.
My partner and I are ready to go. Can I smash him? All units.
Oh, what's up there? We get the ram off. He's gonna have to use a vortex very soon.
Local units.
And we're just gonna keep spamming here. See, we haven't got our minis yet
Can't we flag a ride?
because we've been all in pretty much. Some rams off with the grunt riders to kill as many units as possible, but we really want that dead. Try and kill the turret. We don't want him to get a turret up. Vet free fodder is putting in a lot of work here, and we're just gonna go back round.
You all great one.
Check our mini bases.
Last steps.
Might as well put a second gen up because he's on defense. He's lost a gen now.
All units.
Hasn't used his vortex yet.
Hey, my broke you. What do you say, Boot Pal? You ready? Oh, this thing here.
I have to put a generator somewhere else, I think. And in the background, we're just doing a lot of stuff, trying to keep our units alive. We'll send the fodder over there. We'll send the grunt riders round to the turret.
You must mean someone else. Leader,
And the rest of them are just going to go around the back now to take the mini bases out.
can I opt out?
We have a really good advantage.
We've destroyed an enemy building.
He took that node, so we need to take that down. We're just going to drop mines there again.
Mini base complete.
You need to go down there, guys. Come on.
Leader point
So you don't have a gen at this moment in time. Like, we're really far ahead.
duty. Mosey.
Normally, as Yap Yap, what I would suggest is you go glassing beam. He's actually got Warlord here. That's interesting. So I am going to go glassing beam. But when you're this far ahead, you can go shade drop. And what shade drop does is it allows you to get your next leader point faster because it boosts them.
My partner and I are ready to go.
So dropping 4 shade turrets boosts your leader points. And that's why you normally want to go that. Then you can rush grunts from above and do even more damage to his base since he's so far behind tech now.
Instead of harvester,
We can look at getting an expo, building units in the background, taking some power nodes.
you called. I'm either tingling with excitement or my gas tank. Local units.
Let's see here. And I'll lose another mini base. We're just starving him out of resources at this moment in time. They're really far ahead.
Crunching below your waist. We'll fight him on the beaches. Bill's here, ready to wait. There's a beach.
He's over here. This.
Up, grunts.
That fought that yet.
Make way there.
Plus, he has a second gen coming up.
Go. Local units.
So yeah,
Precious.
doing that.
I mean, my power node.
Just need to get tech 2 now.
And me. Oh, listen to my ride. He's such a
Got all of his minis, lost all his gens. We got scouts here as well. And there we go. We go into tech 2.
We've lost the power node to the enemy. Ready for scrap. Shoot it at.
So we don't lose any of that.
Ration. Leader power ready.
Let's drop more mines there. So he hasn't actually used the beam or vortex yet, so we need to be careful for that. But
Local units.
he is starving for resources right now. We're going to take out another mini base here.
Base for ants.
Just going to use one at a time to ram him. Ram him, get him away from our army, and we should be able to just
Sucks to be them.
get them away.
Is ready. Move. Let's go.
Avoid, avoid.
Complete.
Get the mini before he does. Might as well put that there. That's where we upgrade all of our resources. We'll have an advantage in the middle here, look, and we've already got our next point. We can go grunts from above. We can end this game right now. Take his gens out again. Nothing he can do about it. But we're going to be cheeky and build some locusts up the top. And we're just going to play a little standard here. And go grunt dome. His warlord's obviously distracted at the moment. We're just going to keep taking power nodes. Start getting our leaders out. We can go into a fair generator now as well. Because we're really far ahead. Obviously keep upgrading all of your pads. With the spare power you have. Gonna try and go for an expo. He does now have Boundless Siphon, so that does make things a little bit more difficult for us.
They've destroyed one of our buildings. Rude. Power extractor
Desi can be pretty scary when he gets Boundless Siphon, even from behind. Like, grunts are so cheap. He could just keep spamming grunts now. This found is probably a waste. Boundless probably a waste now. I don't want that. I want a lot of rangers. They... Warlord here. We need to preserve units. Just gotta be careful. Send this to over there. We build a locust just because he neglected it. And he ate mines there, so the mines are good. My ranger should be able to finish some of these guys off. So he's back on the nodes now. He gets tech too. We're on a triple gen. He's gonna get an expo. I'm not going to be taking that. Workers up the top. And he has no... So he has 4 turrets. He doesn't have a watchtower. Obviously that helps us. Ooh, nasty. A lot this pushes, but we should have turrets there. Keep on the nerds. Don't know why he didn't still take that, but he's just killing fodder. He can vet up on them. We took the turrets down. I want to shoot the NG. I want the NG dead. But can't click it. Okay, we still got grunt dome. Oh fuck. I pressed the wrong leader power. I'm insane. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. Kind of fucked up a little there, which isn't great because, you know, the Desi drop is around the corner. I wasted my grunt dome and my beam. I really fucked up there. But we do still have the high ground. Want him dead. Can't take that. But you can take that. It's just a good job, really, that we're really far ahead in this game. Because that could have been detrimental. Wasting a beam like that by mistake. I'm just kill the warlord. It's pretty much game over. And there you have it. Victory. So despite the mistakes, which is just clicking the wrong buttons, that went pretty well. That's generally what you want to do against Decimus on Bedrock. There's a peak towards the mid game when he gets Boundless Siphon, towards the late game when he gets Desi Drop and Boundless Fury. That's when Decimus becomes really strong with those 3 leader powers, and that's where Yap starts to lose his footing against Decimus in that matchup. But early on, cheesing Decimus is really good as Yap Yap because you have a much better economy, especially if you steal a mini. You can cheese him, Chopper, Brute Riders, Grunt Riders, keep the turrets down, go for the gens, and set him behind. And once he's behind like that, you should have enough momentum to actually go through with it and win the game.